Shall we begin?
All right, everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of the Frankly Francisco podcast. This is my first show of the year. Hope everybody had a joyous new year. Today, my special guest goes by the name of Medicare Mark. How are we doing today?
Hey, good evening. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So people don't know, Mark is in Medicare. He essentially helps people sign up for Medicare. So Mark, can you explain to my audience exactly what is it that you do for people?
Yeah, sure. First thing is once they are turning 65, usually like the year before, or I would say like 6 months before their birthday, they start calling me just to get knowledge about what is Medicare. And then I teach them the difference between all the plans that are available out there and how to join Medicare. Yeah.
So why are people not as knowledgeable as you think as they should be about this? And why has it been is it such a struggle for people to understand their need to have it when they hit a certain age?
You know, there's so many answers to that. I'll try not to keep it too long, but one thing that I have noticed that is funny they say that because it's one thing that we all need, with small exceptions. You know, some people don't need it, like prior retired cops and teachers. They usually have coverage for life, but it's funny because something that everybody needs, they don't know what it is, and then they're rushing, and then they sometimes they choose the wrong plan, they're unhappy. um, but I think it's because they think that it's just automatic, like, hey, everything's covered. That's what I think. And people that I've spoken to also, oh, I thought everything was free once Medicare kicks in, or they give me like so many scenarios, and I say no. That's why I do my seminars, to uh, get people knowledge on the subject. Um, and and then of course everybody knows a friend or a neighbor or family member that knows, you know, oh yeah, no, you have to do this, you have to do that, and then they give them incorrect information because what one person might have had to do is not necessarily what the other person might have to do. Each scenario is different, basically.
So what made you actually step into this field? What prompted you to say, hey, this is the field that I want to go in. This is the field that I want to use to help people and to educate people? Because you said yourself right now, you have seminars, which is great because, you're willing to give up time for yourself to actually educate people on what they can and cannot do. So what got you there? What got you to the point where you stepped in to do this?
It's a combination of a couple of things. Believe it or not, I used to work for a big auto and home insurance company for around 13 years. And, my parents were seniors as well. Before they passed away, they were both 74. So I saw the struggle that they both went through, in the beginning. My dad actually had a penalty because he didn't sign up for Medicare on time. That's another thing that people don't know. You do get penalized. And that penalty is not just like a parking ticket, like, oh, here, pay your penalty, you're fine. No, the penalty is every month it gets taken out of your Social Security check for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Once I saw that, I'm like, no, this. So I started educating myself on it first, and I said, I love helping people, as well. So it's just a culmination of everything coming in together and doing something that I love. Um, yeah, and one of the last things is I had a really bad stuttering problem when I was younger. So this kind of challenged me with the seminars and getting in front of people and speaking, where I have the control now, So it's just a whole bunch of stuff put together that that
So
made me go through this.
it's not an easy thing what you do. It's not easy to stand up in a group of people and have a conversation. Some people get stage fright. Some people don't have that ability to be able to talk to large crowds. So how many times a year do you normally hold these seminars for people? And what do you usually have? How many people usually attend these things?
Before COVID, it was I would say like 20 to 30 people uh, at a class between that what they call the open enrollment, which is October 15th to December 7th. So between those dates, which is like around 2 months or so, um, I would have two seminars a week. I mean, two, eight, 16, anywhere from 20 seminars really between
Wow.
that time period. When it's outside of that period, like right now, I do them once or twice a month.
So are they virtual now? Are you doing them virtually, or are you going in place? You still going to actual places to go and conduct these seminars?
2020 was virtual, or everything was
Yeah.
just shut down. Now I am doing them in person. Yes, depending on the county that I go to, they might have to have the vaccine card. Other counties they don't. You just have to wear the face mask. But yeah, I'm in person now.
So I want to preface this to my audience. So Mark works exclusively out of New York City. Every state is different, correct, on their rules on certain things when it comes to Medicare. Um, every state is not the same, correct?
Well, Medicare in general is the same throughout the United States, but the extra help from the
Mhm.
state, which is in New York State, is called Medicaid. Other states may have different names. That those rules change from state
Okay.
to state, but Medicare as a whole is the same. It's the same deal throughout the United States.
So you have a passion for this. So for somebody that's my age, I'm going to be 43 this year. Okay. At what age should I start preparing for this? At what age should I start educating myself on this to be ready for something like this so I don't get penalized? Or for somebody that doesn't know this, somebody that's young, relatively young, but 20 years can go like this, you know what I mean? And in a blink of an eye, I have to get ready for this. So at what age is the proper time for somebody like me to start preparing for this?
I would say you could just dibble and dabble, here and
Mm-hmm.
there. Read an article about it. Um, don't get too into it because things may change in the future. But at any age, I mean, I had a best friend. He actually got Medicare when he was 34 because he had kidney damage and
Mm-hmm.
he had a transplant. So once you're disabled for 2 years, they give you Medicare. So it could be at any age, but normally it's when you turn 65. But yeah, absolutely, I would say get an article, give me a call, or attend a seminar. If you have an aunt or uncle, look for a seminar with them if they have Medicare already, and say, hey, can I join you? And go and just learn, just so you could get your feet wet.
So typically at these seminars, how long do they typically last? Are they hour? Or are they 30 minutes? How long do you usually stay? Because people are going to have questions afterwards. So typically from
Right.
start to finish, you start the seminar usually at what time and usually get done at what time?
Let's say if I start at 10, depending on other questions and also depending on the attendance, it could last an hour. It can last 45 minutes, an hour and a half, depending on how long, And some people, they just, okay, I understand everything, and they leave. Other people stay around. They like to hear the other questions that other people have, because you know how it is. So sometimes, like, oh, that's a good question. I didn't even think about that. So they tend to stay to like hang around and let, keep listening to other answers and questions.
So do you pull people aside? Is it just you, or do you have a team of people that are with you for these seminars? Are you the main speaker, or do you guys go in pairs? Like you'll have your time where you speak, and then you'll tag in your partner that's with you to tag in and continue to talk.
I usually like to, well, through the normal months, we,
Mm-hmm.
we call it, it is just alone. But through the that enrollment period that we spoke about, October, December, we usually do it like a tag team. But the tag team is more like if somebody has a question while I'm presenting, then they'll just go individually and answer the question real quick.
So is it more efficient that way for you to do it on your own, or is it easier when you have a partner doing those hectic time through that enrollment period?
Ba- Based on attendance, yeah, that tag team is great because while one person well, let's say once the seminar is done, two people could go boom, 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 and knock everybody out. With the questions, answers, and everything. So it does come in handy.
So I find it fascinating that a lot of people just don't know, and a lot of people are just not educated on this stuff. It's amazing that we have to have people like you that are doing this type of business. So how is it that you can, you can talk to these people, and does it get frustrating sometimes because when they don't know what what they're not really understanding what you're saying, or they're not really getting the conversation that you're having with them? Have you ever gotten frustrated? Because you know how some of the older folks can be sometimes, they don't understand certain things and they get frustrated. How do you overcome those things?
Yeah, I get that a lot, and I don't blame them. It's a lot of different information that they have to. If they haven't been doing their homework in the previous months,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like overload. So I start from the beginning. I sit down with them. I say, okay, let's write it down together, and I also grab a pen and paper. And once they start seeing what they're writing, because it's actually very easy, believe it or not, if you explain it correctly and on paper, then that's okay. I see how it. All right, I see what you mean, and it works even over the phone. If
Really?
they're telling me, yeah, if they're telling me, hey, I don't understand this, I say, okay, just do me a favor, just so that I could get your undivided attention. Have a seat, grab a pen and paper, and I'm just gonna let you take a couple notes down, and I'm doing it on my end, so I know what they are doing. So I said, put this on the left side, put this on the right side. So once they get that visual, yeah, they're a Medicare genius by the end.
So do you ever go out to your clients yourself, or do they always have to come to you to the office, or are you able to travel around the city to actually meet your clientele?
Oh, absolutely. I've driven all the way to the easternmost point of Long Island, which is like a 2-hour drive. Uh, and I've driven all the way to the Bronx, Staten Island. So I'm basically all over. As long as they request a home visit and they're okay with that. Now with the pandemic, we have to wear the face mask. Um, but yeah, I do home visits. The local people, if they want to stop by the office, yeah, we'll set an appointment. I'll meet them at the office.
But I think that's pretty cool that you get to go out to somebody, because some of these folks don't want to come out. Some of these folks are scared to leave their house. With the pandemic, especially the older folks, they're more weary than anything else. But I think it gives them a comfortability factor when they know that you're willing to go the extra mile to go see them, to make them more comfortable, to understand what needs to happen for them. And I applaud you for that, because a lot of people won't do that. A lot of people, especially in New York City, man, the traffic is horrendous. And you're going from one part of the Bronx, all the way to Staten Island. So, I mean, traffic's got to be a killer for you sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when somebody, let's say, for instance, when they say, "Oh, can you be here too?" I say, "Listen, I can give you a window." It's like the cable guy.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
they give you that window. So I give them the window, and they're perfectly fine with that. But traffic, it comes with the. I'll put on some audio podcasts and let it flow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's got to be tough sometimes with that traffic in New York City, but the passion you have, man, to help people is tremendous. It seems like this is your calling right now in the field that you desire to be in. Is there any other thing that you are doing for yourself besides this? Do you have anything on the side that you're working on for yourself outside of the spectrum of what you're doing, or is this your full-time passion? This is your full-time thing?
Well, before the 13 years at the home and auto insurance, I used to work on cars, not mechanically, but the electrical side
Mhm.
part, like radios, TVs, remote starters, things of that nature. So I like to get, my like hands on. I had a buddy, he said, "Hey, I want to put a fire stick in my car." I said, okay. I had to think about it for a second. How am I going to do this? And then, light bulb turned on, and next thing you know, this guy's watching. He has a fire stick in his car for the kids. So once Netflix, just pop down the flip down TV for the kids, and they're happy.
So you managed to put a fire stick in a car.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I ended up putting one in my car too. Yeah.
But that, I mean, you have a passion for that stuff though, which is good. So maybe
Yeah,
some, maybe,
the electronics part. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
maybe some point you know, you open up a little shop or something on the side to, you know, to grow some business. There's always some side business that can go on with that. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
always a side hustle you can have. Now, Mark, please tell me about this commercial, man. It's fantastic. Like, how did this commercial come together for you? I seen this commercial. I'm like, he just pops out of nowhere as soon as the commercial starts. You just see him come into the frame and just start talking. You know what I mean? How
Yeah.
did you? What was the concept behind this commercial for the spot that you did?
Um, so I've been trying to do my own videos, and it's hard. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know how the Hollywood actors and directors they do all the same thing in themselves because it's hard. So I try to video myself. Gave my camera to my buddy. Hey, look, stand here, record me like this, and it just wasn't happening. So I ended up this person that I met at a networking event, in a networking team group, and he does videography and commercials. And I said, oh, we sat down, we had lunch, and he told me everything he could do. I'm like, that sounds good. Okay, let's do this. So it was the first time that I left the videography into somebody else's hands, and like you said, it came out great. I'm happy. I was nervous, but we had to take a couple of takes, but it came out good. Thanks.
So for that 55-second spot that you had almost a minute, how many hours of video did that have to take? How many takes did you have?
That one specifically that you're speaking about, that one was, I think it was like 2 or 3 hours.
2 or 3 hours.
We had to do different angles, different cameras. I will forget the line. Yeah. I think I said like 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours tops. I think. Yeah.
So are you distributing this just on your Facebook page for Medicare Mark, or are you trying to put this on TV? Like, because New York has public access channels too. Like, are you trying to get TV spots, radio spots for this? Are you trying to get yourself out there more by doing this?
There's a lot of um, things that you can and cannot say on TV and radio,
Mm-hmm.
so that has to go through compliance. That's why I just stick with the social media for now.
Got you.
So it's Facebook and then LinkedIn. I also posted on there.
Okay. Well, hey, it's free. You're gonna get yourself seen either way it goes. And when people see you're willing to go out there, because it's not, you got to spend money to make money. That's just the way the world works. And you by going out and making that video. But I seen the video, I was like, wow, this guy's, I have to bring him on the show. Like he's really passionate about he's really passionate about what he does. He enjoys helping people. So how long do you see yourself being in this business? Is this a long-term venture for you, or is this just a stepping stone for you to go to the next level? Because you're a pretty young guy.
Yeah, well, thanks. I'll be 42 in July. But yeah, I think this is the long run. This is the long run. I love the people that I meet. I mean, I've met all types of different people, and like you said, going out to their homes, you get that closer connection.
Mhm.
And once they do see who you are, not just physically, but as a person, they're speaking about you to their friends and family, their neighbors, and it spreads. Like that's just great. I love that.
So does the relationship stop once everything is done, or do you continue to contact them after everything has been taken care of? Is their long lasting relationship with these clients that you have?
Yeah. Long lasting relationships. I'm going on my fourth year. I actually still, if they call me, I try to pick up if I'm not with a client. Um, I send them birthday cards. I send them a thank you card once they enroll as well. But once they see that the thank you card, they just call me. Hey, Mark, how are you? I just got your birthday card. Thank you so much. And I think they like the fact that it's not I go on a computer, hit click here, order birthday card. It's I write it out.
Yeah.
It's more personalized as well.
Well, I mean, and I think that's what's lost on people now. The personalization on things now is gone out the window. Everything is automated. Everything is computer now. Everything is, we can handle everything over the phone. but I think sometimes it's a lot easier for us to have that personal connection with people. I think people enjoy that more than anything else, is to have that personal connection. And I think you do a good job of keeping those relationships and managing those people that you have, even after they get everything set up that they need. And I think word of mouth is one of the biggest ways for you to grow any business that you're in. And by you keeping those strong ties and those strong bonds with the clients that you helped before, all they're going to do is recommend you to other people as well, because they know you're taking care of them.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. And I get a lot of complaints from, oh, but I signed up with this other guy and he never picks up my call now. And I'm like, well, I understand the way you feel. But if you put your trust in me, you'll see that not everyone is the same. And they take the plunge, with their face like, okay, but then hey, thank you. You were right. You're nothing like, this other person that I send out. I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. This is like the size of the envelope that I use.
Uh-huh.
And thank you.
Oh, nice. You personalized cards, huh?
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome, man.
yeah, handwrite it. So once they see the handwritten thing, it's like, oh, okay, let me open it up. It's not just some junk or some spam.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Listen, I think what you're doing is a service to people, especially the older generation, because the older we get, the less, I think the older we get, the less knowledge we learn. For some people don't like to learn. Some people have learned everything they need to learn and don't want to learn anything else. But I think you do a good job of educating people on the importance of Medicare and, the options that they have. I mean, because basically they have to get it, whether they think they don't or they do. It's a necessity for them, because if not, they can get themselves caught up unnecessarily. And I think you do a good job of educating people. So, for my audience, do you have any seminars coming up this month, next month? When is the next time people in New York City can find you for your next seminar?
Well, for next month, we are, because we have to sign the like agreements on the locations.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be late next month, like usually like the last week of the month.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have to choose from one of three locations, so we're still working on that.
Well, that's good though. At least the audience knows that there's something coming up. So where can my audience find you? If my audience in New York City wants to find you, where is it that they can get a hold of Medicare Mark at?
Well, in New York, not necessarily New York City, but they could go on Facebook, and they could search either Medicare Mark.
And I'll
I
put the
can't.
link in. I'll put the
Oh,
link in. You can send me the link, and I'll put the link in the description below. So if people need to click on there to get a hold of you in the New York area, they can. But I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. I'm glad you're educating folks on the necessity of Medicare. It's been really enjoyable. Do you have any more commercials that you're working on, man? Is there anything else you got in the plans for that?
yeah, I've tons. So now I want to do like a FAQ,
Uh-huh.
FAQ videos, because there's always scenarios, and me myself, I'm always learning also. But I also want to do a Spanish videos as well.
Okay.
Because
So
what
you
good
want to take care
is
of our Spanish crowd. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, but thank you for having me. I mean, there's a lot of things. Hopefully, I'll come back on in the future and jump off another subject,
Yeah.
or branch off another subject, because there's just so many things, that we can touch on as well, just to get the audiences like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Well, we
So,
can. So we can make this like an educational thing for our podcast, where we can have you on, every month, just to update, just to educate, because this is something that needs to continue. I don't think, like I said, I don't think everybody knows the seriousness of this, and they don't understand the consequences of not having it. And I think this is something that we can touch on, because there's other things that you can touch on besides this. This is just an introductory to what you do. There's so many
yeah,
layers, you know what I mean, to peel back in this. But we have to be precise in what you say and what you don't say, because, there are consequences for, saying certain things you shouldn't say and doing certain things you shouldn't do. So we want to make sure that we have all our ducks in a row. But we'll continue this conversation. I think this is very, very interesting, and we'll do it down the road. But you're always welcome on the show. Just contact us. I'll make sure I'll put your link in the description and in the bio where people can find you at. And your video that you made, your commercial, will be at the end of this podcast, so people can hear about you a little bit more, and we'll go from there. So, Mark, it's been a great interview, and we look forward to seeing you again. All right,
appreciate it.
All right,
have a good one.
You too.
Hi, my name is Mark Revelo, and I'm your local Medicare field representative with Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield. Are you confused about Medicare? Are all the TV commercials and flyers that you're getting in the mail adding to that confusion? Or what your friends, family, or colleagues have been telling you what you should or shouldn't do about your Medicare coverage? So if you're confused about Medicare, I'm here to answer all your questions that you have about it and clear up any doubts that you have. You can contact me directly at 646-907-3022 or through email, mark.arevalo@empireblue.com.